In this video, we will demonstrate how to bootstrap a Spring Boot application project. Let's get started. First, open a terminal window and change directory to the location where you wish to create the project. We're going to create the initial project structure using the Maven Quick Start archetype. While this doesn't generate exactly what we want, it's very close. Type the Maven archetype generate goal and supply command line parameters that tell the archetype goal exactly what to do. We're going to use an archetype artifact ID of Quick Start. The group ID should be your organization's group ID for all of its projects, and the artifact ID should be the name of this specific project. Supply interactive mode false so that Maven won't prompt you for any additional information. Press enter. Maven generates the initial project structure, and you'll see that it reports build success, indicating that the command completed successfully. Let's import the project into the Spring Tool Suite or STS. I'm going to go to File, then Import, and I'm going to select Existing Maven Project. Using the Browse button, I'll select the base directory of the project we just created using Maven. I see that STS has found my project POM file successfully. I'll click the Finish button to complete the import. And the import's complete. Notice the project has a small J to indicate it's a Java project and a small M to denote it's a Maven project. Open the POM file and select the POM XML tab. We need to modify the contents which were generated by the Maven Quick Start archetype to enable Spring Boot features. First, let's clean up the project information. I'm going to add some spacing to improve readability and clearly delineate the sections of the POM file. We can delete the packaging element. It's not truly necessary. However, the default packaging for Spring Boot projects is jar, so this is redundant. We can also delete the URL and name elements, or you can change them to meaningful values for your organization. Next, we add the Spring Boot parent starter POM. By inheriting from the Spring Boot parent POM file, your POM file is greatly simplified because it automatically inherits the dependencies declared in the parent. Now that we have the parent POM declared, let's update the project dependencies. Since we're constructing RESTful web services, let's add the Spring Boot Starter Web dependency. Spring Boot offers dozens of prepackaged starter dependencies. Starter dependencies are bundles of Spring functionality, which are bundled and tested with Spring Boot's automatic configuration setup. We'll see more of this in later screencasts in this series. For now, let's replace the JUnit dependency with the Spring Boot Starter Web dependency. Notice the version element is omitted. One of the benefits of inheriting from Spring Boot Starter Parent POM is that Spring Boot automatically supplies the latest supported version for many known dependencies. Because we replaced the JUnit dependency, the unit test class has compilation errors. For now, let's just delete it. Finally, we need to add the Spring Boot Maven plugin to our POM. The POM adds a Maven goal to start an embedded Apache Tomcat container. The goal also enhances the standard Maven package goal to create an executable jar file. Now the POM file has everything we need for a Spring Boot web service project. Next, let's update the main Java class to start the application. Let's start by renaming the generated class app.java to application.java. While this is not strictly necessary, it conforms to Spring Boot's best practices. Open the application class. First, let's update the class comment to denote that this is the starting point for the application. Next, Annotate the class with @Spring Boot Application. This annotation is the equivalent of using @configuration, @enable auto configuration, and @component scan. Finally, let's update the main method to start the Spring application. We're going to throw an exception from the main method should a problem occur, and we'll add the Spring application runner class, supplying the name of this main entry point class and also any command line arguments supplied when the application is started. Finally, notice that we have a compilation error remaining on the main project, which is a remnant from removing that test class. Sometimes it's necessary to update the Maven project to clean up any residual compilation errors. Let's switch back to the terminal window. Go to the project base directory where the POM file is located. First, let's run the application using the Spring Boot Maven plugin. Type mvn spring-boot:run and press enter. Notice that Maven compiles the project and then starts an embedded Apache Tomcat server. Near the end of the console logging, note that Apache Tomcat is listening for HTTP requests on port 8080. Let's open a browser and go to localhost 8080. In this case, an error page is actually a successful result. Remember that we haven't actually created any functionality yet, but Spring Boot successfully received the request from the browser and determined that there's nothing mapped to the base context path, so it returned an automatically generated error page to us. Okay, now let's see how to run the project as an executable jar file. Using the Maven plugin is great for local development, but it's not the recommended way to run a Spring Boot application on a server. So we press Ctrl+C to stop the application and type mvn clean package to create an executable jar file. After Maven completes, use the java-jar command to run the executable jar file. Notice that the application starts the same as before. The embedded Tomcat server starts listening on port 8080. We can use the browser again and confirm that the application is running. Congratulations! You've successfully created the base project structure for a Spring Boot project. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Look for more videos in the Spring Boot series to learn how to create web services, how to create environment-specific configurations using Spring profiles, and how to use Spring Data for data persistence. I hope you've enjoyed this LeanStacks training video. For more videos, subscribe to the LeanStacks YouTube channel. For more information, go to leanstacks.com.